All right, guys, we have got our Week 6 NFL recap here. Bit of a change of scenery here because this is the only place I can record this and get it out before the Thursday game this coming week. So this won't happen often, but this is kind of what we have to deal with today. But yeah, we've got our Week 6 recap here of the NFL. We're going to do our normal stuff, our normal getting through all the games, what we think about them and stuff. And again, these videos, it's not like they're going to get shorter necessarily, but we won't have to pine on a lot of things because, again, we know what these teams are. We know what these teams should be in certain situations. We talked about Kansas City against a variety of teams, and we'll talk about it tonight as well, or their game from the other night. But yeah, teams should be who they are at this stage and really solidifying a lot of that. And their weaknesses are their weaknesses. The strengths are their strengths, so we don't have to discuss it a whole ton. But it'll still be one of our, regular videos as we talk through. So why don't we go ahead and start? Philadelphia and the Giants Thursday night. Philadelphia 17, the Giants 34. Yeah, I don't think too many people expected this kind of result. Again, 7.5 point favorites were Philadelphia, and I don't think too many. Plenty of people could have seen the Giants winning this game. I'm not so sure. Plenty of people saw a bit of an ass kicking here. And as a Giants fan, it certainly caught me off guard a little bit. But yeah, Giants steamroll Philadelphia here in the end. It was very tight early and then just exploded second half a little bit more. Lots of points early. Jalen Carter did not play here. And I think that's really important. The Eagles have played 2 games now without Jalen Carter. The Giants game here, the Dallas game opening night after he was ejected early. And they've got no pass rush whatsoever when he's not on the field. They play much better when he's on the field and teams have to double team him. But when they don't have to double team Jalen Carter, they get no pass rush. And this is not a Giants O-line that's very good. No, Andrew Thomas has come back from his injury and has been playing at a really elite level. But the rest of the offensive line is not very good. And getting no rush here is an issue. And will be an issue as long as Jalen Carter is not on the field. And it's a problem. And it's a huge problem for Philadelphia right now. Just the pass rush in general. Smith retires the other day as well. So they're just losing guys left and right. So they're going to have to deal with that. And they're missing Quinyon Mitchell, who got hurt here as well. And Adoree Jackson's not someone who should be playing corner starting at corner on a team in the NFL right now. Keely Ringo's not a guy you should be starting at corner in the NFL right now. And both of them are the 1-2 with Cooper, DeJean in the slot. So it's a huge issue. That's very quickly becomes an issue when it goes from Quinyon Mitchell and a bad piece to 2 bad pieces and then nothing on the defensive line. And that's what you get. You get a New York Giants team that's not great offensively, not great on the offensive line, doing whatever they want. Jackson Dart has continued to show positive signs. There are things he's going to have to work on. Of course, the passing's not 100% great right now. And he does miss a few things here and there, but he's a rookie, and he's a lot further along than I think many people expected Jackson Dart to be at this stage, which is good. He does a great job of maneuvering in the pocket right now, and he had a lot of time in the pocket for that day, but he did well finding players and finding the right players and not necessarily putting the ball in harm's way necessarily for the most part. And he's going to have to work on not diving headfirst into opponents on the sideline. Eventually, I assume he just ends up sliding a little bit more and he ends up going out of bounds a little bit more on the sideline. He's going to have to work on that. But he continues to improve, which is nice. I'm not going to probably not this year, but next year we'll probably be doing some preview stuff. But I can mention here that I don't expect this kind of offensive performance against Denver at Mile High next week. I don't really expect this kind of offensive performance when they've played the Eagles in 2 weeks either in Philadelphia. So we'll see what that's like. I think this is more of an outlier type thing for the Giants. We didn't upgrade them a ton in the model or just in general because, as I said, this felt more like a situation that it's nice that they showed that they're going to score points in situations where things arise. And when they're not shooting themselves in the foot like the Saints game where they were moving the ball really well against that Saints defense, which isn't great, but they were moving the football well and just doing silly things, 3 fumbles in a row type stuff. And again, against the Philadelphia team that's got nothing in the secondary, nothing on the defensive line, you should be moving the football in those situations. But at minimum, they're showing that they can, which is good. Scatterboo runs really hard, just a crazy guy over there. The defensive line is really good, just genuinely really great. Brian Burns is playing at a genuinely fantastic level. Thibodeau has made a step up this year and is playing really well. Abdul Carter is already a guy. Pressure after pressure after pressure with him. Dexter Lawrence is Dexter Lawrence. Some of the secondary pieces were okay. Again, they're not great back there, but they were okay. Flott with a big interception there. And Adebo is a step up from what it was last year. It's nothing fantastic right now, but it was a step up. So when the defensive line's getting back there, which they were, and causing problems, stopping the run, it could be a decent defense, which is good. And when they keyed in on the run, that's when it really turned for Philadelphia. That first drive, Saquon went for like 60 yards on 2 carries. And then after that, it was like 10 carries for 21 yards. Like they really honed in on it and really did well dealing with it. So a good performance from the Giants. Philadelphia, we talked about the defense. When they're missing guys, it's really bad. There's not a lot of great on that defense when they're missing Jalen Carter, when they're missing Quinyon Mitchell. It becomes really bad, really quick in a variety of different spots. As for the offense, it continues to have issues. The run game, again, once it got stopped here and you force Jalen Hurts into a throwing first type of game script, he struggles a little bit more, and that's okay. And again, it's not like I think Jalen Hurts is an awful quarterback or anything, but the offense works, and he works best when the run game's working and when he's not getting pressured crazy and when the script says we can run or throw here, But when it becomes pass-only situations, you see it. He's just not like a pass-first quarterback, and that's just kind of what it is. And when the Giants stopped the run, it became that kind of offense, and it really struggled to move the football. I think the coordinator, we talked about this, the coordinator's a mess. The coordinator needs to be removed. Like, we're past it. Like, this ain't working. And it's probably not going to work if we continue to do these things. And it seems like they continue to do these things. The play calling's not great. The wide receivers are unhappy. The quarterback in these situations is not fantastic. The run game's not working in some spots here. It's just not going very well on offense, and they're going to need to fix that if they want to go forward. They go to Minnesota this week. Another tough defense, and then they have the Giants at home, which I think is going to be their get-right game. So we'll see what happens, but it's been a pretty rough stretch for Philly, and they need bodies back. Denver and the Jets. Denver win this one 13-11 overseas. I believe this was at Tottenham Stadium. This game went about right. Like, this is a Jets team that is inept on offense. They scored 0 touchdowns here. 3 field goals and a safety with the holding. And it's a Denver offense that scored 10 early on the scripted stuff, which is really good and which Sean Payton is really good at. And then nothing after that because the offense isn't very good. There's not very much in the skill position group. Very little at quarterback. I'm just not a Bo Nix guy, and I have yet to see anything out of Bo Nix that says Bo Nix is going to be a guy. No offense. Again, but I'm just not seeing it, and they showed it here. And again, this is a team or a pair of teams that have gone overseas, and obviously that affects quite a few things, but also nothing got showed here other than just a watered-down version of their normal selves. Like, if this game was played in Denver, I would not be surprised if this was the same outcome. So, or in New York, whatever. So a minimal impact for me going overseas here. But it may be a little bit of scoring. But other than that, this is just kind of what these teams are. This Denver defense is really, really good. They had a ton of sacks here, I believe. I forgot the number, 8, 9. But they were really getting back there, causing problems. Fields is also just a guy who's going to take bad sacks. So that is a crazy bad combination. And yeah, so the defense continues to be really good. And the offense needs work. And that's kind of what we've been saying week in and week out for Denver for a little bit now. If they're going to win playoff games, they're going to have to figure it out a little bit more on offense. As for the Jets, yeah, Fields ain't it, and he continues to play, take bad sacks. I'm going to say Aaron Glenn's not it. Aaron Glenn was someone in our preview that we were really skeptical on. Like, I didn't think the defense in Detroit was very good in terms of just how it was coached. I didn't particularly like his style of coaching either. Just some of the things he said didn't rub the right way with me. He's a defensive coach, which normally means he's a little bit more conservative than he should be, which he is. That weird situation where they do the fake punt and then get the first down and then don't do anything at the end of half was just unbelievable. So I don't think they have anything at quarterback. Don't think they have anything at coach. The skill groups, Breece Hall's playing all right. Garrett Wilson's hurt and is going to miss time now, which is really bad already for an offense that doesn't gain one. They gained 84 yards of offense in this game. 84. Jesus. The coordinator on offense I don't know what to think of him because I don't particularly love the play calling, but I also don't know what the limitations are like with Fields at quarterback, how much of the playbook just gets shrunk down and discarded, period. So it's a very weird situation over there. I'm not expecting them to win a ton of games going forward, but, that's just kind of how it is. And then it's just a really bad performance. The defense played well, and the defense has pieces and has always had pieces. A lot of bad Jets defense has felt like effort over the last 2 or 3 years because they do this every week seemingly. Anytime they're in a football game, it's because the defense is playing really well and the offense is getting no points, and that seems to happen every time. And when they don't play well on defense, it falls apart a little bit because it's like, hey, it doesn't matter if we're giving up points. They're not going to score any anyway. And it kind of just falls away as the game goes ahead. You see that a little bit with Cleveland this year, sort of like in the Ravens game and in the Lions game. You sticking in it, and they're not scoring points on offense, and eventually the dam breaks, and it's kind of like, that's it. So that's kind of what the Jets defense has been for 3 years, it feels like. But they played well again today, and there are guys back there. But yeah, I'm not so sure how many games this team's going to win. So they have a winnable game next week at home to Carolina, so we'll see. Arizona, Indianapolis. Indianapolis win this one 31-27. This was a fun one, actually. Jacoby Brissett came in and played well. Well-ish. He played all right. This is not a good defense for the Colts. We say that every week, and it showed a little bit more here. Brissett was okay. He threw that pick, but that felt more like I don't think that was his fault. It was a timing thing, and the wide receiver got thrown off that route really late on the bump. And they could have had a first and goal from the one really late if that gets called DPI in the end zone. So, yeah, a good showing, I thought, from the Arizona offense. The defense is it's not a worry necessarily because this is a good offense in Indianapolis, but it's not as good as it needs to be for them to contend for a wild card spot, which is kind of my worry. So we'll see going forward there. It's nice to see Marvin Harrison really, I think he got hurt a little bit here midway through this game, but it's nice to see him it seems that game against Seattle has woken him up a little bit and has given him some confidence, which is really good and good to see because he's playing much better. So we'll see what that looks like there going on. And then, as for Brissett, solid. Kyler should be back soon. We'll see. But solid. As for the Colts, defensively, that's the issue with this football team. Offensively, even today, they didn't play particularly great on offense, I thought, and still scored 31. Jones threw a really bad pick in there, and then Arizona gave it right back. But, just fine. And they continue to move the football, and that's what's holding them up right now, because I don't think this defense is very good. They're not getting a ton of pressure. They're not really great in the secondary, and I know they've been kind of injured there for the most part, but even when they're kind of healthy, it's not fantastic. The offense is going to keep them afloat ahead of schedule. They have an interesting game next week against the Chargers. to another team that's kind of in this area, I suppose. So that should be a nice litmus test there. They needed to win this game. They had a big fourth quarter to do so. And they keep on rolling. So nice for Indianapolis. Next, we have their opponent next week, the Chargers and the Dolphins. Chargers win this one 29-27. Yeah, Chargers get over the line here. The offense was good in a spot it needs to be good. This is one of those spots like it's a Miami defense that's really bad, period. There's no secondary. Pass rush isn't really there. This is a spot where you need to be really good on offense. And the Chargers put up 30, and they'll feel comfortable with that. They won't feel comfortable with how the defense played, probably. But I feel kind of bad for this Miami team in a way. I feel kind of bad for Mike McDaniel. Like, he calls good games, man. And it doesn't matter because Tua throws 3 picks. And, like, the defense has got nothing on the roster. Like, he's going to go somewhere and be an offensive coordinator and be super successful. This is just a really horrible place to be at, I feel like, right now. Again, they put up 27 here, come back really well, almost win this one, and the defense can't hold. That's just how it goes. Tua throws 2 interceptions in game. The last one was with 5 seconds left as they were looking to do laterals and stuff, but that throw decision was also horrific. But 2 other bad picks, and he continues to just not play particularly well. But again, the offense is playing fine for the most part. But they go through just these weird things. Like, the run game is so important, and when the run game gets stuffed on a drive, then it's like, Tua save us, he can't. So they get weird things like the Carolina game where they can't stop Carolina after Carolina figured it out, and then the run game's not there and the game's over and you give up a big comeback. Here you come all the way back, everything's fine, and the defense is not good enough to stop anything. So, like, everything here just is so against each other. It's a very, very tough situation to win football games in because everything has to be perfect. Tua has to be good. The run game has to be good. The defense has to be, like, somewhat decent. Like, and the roster is just not built for it. So it's very tough. But, you know, that's how she goes. We'll see. I think they're pretty close to stripping this team a little bit. I've seen, I know they're going to get rid of Tyreek in the offseason. I've seen some rumors about Waddle being traded. We'll see. Mike McDaniel, I assume, will be let go at some stage. So this team's pretty close to a full reset, and we'll see what happens there. As for the Chargers, needed to win this one. It's a tough division where the Chiefs are kind of getting back to it. Denver have a really easy schedule over the next 5 or 6 and can win 5 of their next 6 very comfortably. And they need to keep winning games. And they have a tough one coming this week, so they needed to win this one, and they did. And they'll feel good about that. New England, New Orleans. Patriots win this one 25-19. This game kind of went how it figured. Pretty close to the total, pretty close to the spread. The only real difference in this game is probably just the fumble. And that's it. Otherwise, this is a game kind of went how is expected. This is a New Orleans offense that's not fantastic, but doable, usable. Rattler's playing pretty well. We've talked about Rattler for a little bit now, where I think Rattler's at least put himself in the conversation to at least contend somewhere for a starting position. I don't know if he ends up getting one, but contend somewhere for one. And the offense has pieces that are going okay, but it's not anything fantastic, and it wasn't expected to be. And the Patriots keep on clicking on their offensive end. Drake May is playing well. The run game is a problem. It's just a problem. None of the backs are playing particularly well. They're not run blocking particularly well. The play calling is not particularly good. Like, none of it is very good. And May has to hold up a lot of that, and he's capable and become a capable guy. And the defense is playing okay. I don't think it's that great, but it's playing okay. And it's going to be just an insanely easy schedule. So this team could play like this and win 12 games. Like, it could be just an average football team and win 12 games. So they're in a good spot. In terms of winning playoff games, they're going to have to, again, fix some things. I don't think the defense is that great, and the running game is, and you're kind of like leaning on a second-year quarterback to kind of bail you out of a lot of long down type of stuff, and the play calling's not great and stuff like that. So in terms of contending in like the playoffs, there are issues, but in terms of winning a bunch of regular season games, there probably aren't too many. So we'll see what that looks like. They go to Tennessee, who just fired their coach, who we'll talk about in a bit, which is one of those get-up spots for Tennessee. So that'll be kind of interesting, but should have a decent season on the way out. Saints, they're going to lose a lot of football games. That's just how it is. The roster's not fantastic, but they're going to be feisty. They're going to be in a lot of football games and causing some problems. Dallas and Carolina. Carolina win this one 30-27. This is another one that kind of went how we figured it would go. Two teams who have very little on defense. Dallas in particular has like nothing on defense. They don't get pass rush. They have nothing at corner. They have nothing in the secondary, linebackers, whatever. Like there is very, very little here on defense. And Dallas, who are missing Pickens, who are missing CD, are missing their best offensive player, one of the best offensive players in the league, with a defense that's kind of blah, and going against an offense that has shown it can score on bad teams, at least in terms of Carolina. So this game kind of went how we figured it would go. It was just a coin flip at the end there. Bryce Young and the Carolina offense drive down the field for the game-winning field goal, and the Dallas punted the trip before. So that's it. That's just the kind of the game. It was whoever has the ball last wins the football game, and Panthers end up doing it. As I said, the Panthers are 3-3 now. I don't think this team's very good still. I don't think the offense is very good. But again, it shows against bad defenses, and it can score against bad defenses because there is enough talent. The running game has become crazy with Rico Dowdle, who just is just going to go for 200 every week, it feels like. Though what's-his-name has just come back, so we'll see what that kind of looks like. The coach is making it look like Chuba's back to being the one, and Dowdle is kind of going to contribute here and there, which I don't know about that, but that may be what happens here, so we'll see. And they're not going to play awful defenses every week, so again, we'll see. But it shows enough on offense, so that's good. Defensively, there are some bright spots here and there, like in the middle of the D-line and some of the secondary stuff, but it's not fantastic. It's one of the lower-end defenses in the league, so they're going to have to be hitting on offense if they want to win games. And in a game like this, that's exactly what they did against a really bad defense. As for Dallas, all right, excuse the cut there, but as for Dallas, the defense is just going to be horrible. That's just kind of what it is. The offense is going to have to, we said at the beginning of the year, and it's been very, very true for Dallas, if the offense is clicking, they can win games. If the offense is not clicking 100%, they're probably just going to lose the football game. And, you punt on one of the last drives and you lose the football game. And that's kind of what it is. You're missing CD for a couple of weeks. Pickens is playing really well in this role. We'll see what that looks like when CD comes back. But right now, getting all the CD routes and playing really, really well. Javonte Williams continues to run well, and Dak continues to play really well. And again, the offense is fine. Whereas the offense is really good, genuinely really good, top 3 type. The defense is just like bottom of the league. So that's just kind of what it is there. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh win this one 23-9. This is a tough one to kind of like look at for me in terms of just what it means and what this data necessarily means, what this game necessarily means. Pittsburgh were comfortable pretty much front to back. It was kind of tight early, and you kind of expect that a little bit with this Pittsburgh offense versus this Cleveland defense, and then it kind of stretches out as Cleveland don't particularly get anything going offensively. And again, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but this is like the worst spot possible for Cleveland or for any team that's ever been scheduled a game. There's like 1 or 2 instances of all time that are this bad, and the travel's crazy. They go to Detroit, and then they go to overseas where the Vikings are waiting for them already. The Vikings had played there a week before, so the Vikings are fresh, and Cleveland go into it off of travel across the world, and then they come back and go to Pittsburgh off more travel, and Pittsburgh come off a bye. Like, this was a Pittsburgh need to win this football game type of spot. We talk about those where you need to show a little bit, and Pittsburgh did show here, and Cleveland looked groggy, and they have a rookie quarterback from the third round, and that's it. Like, it's tough to kind of like look into this game and kind of take anything more away than this game kind of went how it was supposed to go, and that's kind of it, which is good for Pittsburgh. They at least show here that they can take advantage of these things. Again, this Pittsburgh team I don't think is that great, but again, it needs to show in spots like this, and does show in spots like this. That's the coaching for me. And the offense just needed to do enough. It did. And the defense didn't need to do a bunch. And it did. So that's kind of the result we got here as they continue to kind of click along. So they have another short week here with an older quarterback against another short week with an older quarterback on the Thursday, which should be interesting. But I think, well, I can look it up, I suppose. Pittsburgh have a pretty comfortable schedule for a bit. So it's good for them, but they keep on winning these games they're supposed to win at least, and they do. As for Cleveland, the defense was okay here and then kind of just, fades, which, again, to be expected with the spot, the travel. Gabriel, I don't know. I don't think Gabriel's long for the league, and we'll see if he starts all year or what that looks like. They may want to move to Shedeur just to see it, but my expectation here in Cleveland is that they lose a bunch of games. The defense keeps them in some, and they may steal some, but the offense loses them a bunch of games. And next year, they're just drafting a QB early, most likely. They're getting mocked quarterback. I assume they take quarterback. I really hope. I've seen some Dante Moore stuff. No. But that's just my expectation for Cleveland. But we're talking about the Steelers, who are, 5-1, 4-1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're 4-1. They get Cincinnati, who short week, and Flacco hasn't really gotten to the offense yet. Otherwise, I think this would be more of a game. If this were like a Sunday and they're like Flacco's getting full weeks worth of practice here, but a game they should win. Then they get the Packers, Colts, away to Chargers, Bengals again, away to Bears, Bills, Ravens, and it kind of toughens up from here. So they've needed to win these football games and continue to win these football games, which is very good to them. But for this particular game, it's tough to really take anything from it. It's just the way this spot set up. You're off a bye, or if you're Steelers, off a bye against the worst spot of all time against the Cleveland team there with not a lot of offense. So it needed to be and was. Seattle, Jacksonville. Seattle win this one 20-12. Yeah, really good showing from Seattle, who continue to play really well. The defense is really good, and the offense is ticking along. Darnold's playing well. JSN is really, really good, and it feels like every game is a 100-yard game that comes with a 40-yard catch somewhere in there. Continues to play really, really well. And then again, the defense is really good, well coached. They're missing dudes here and there all the time and still kind of ticking along defensively. That game versus Tampa Bay got out of hand, but that's their only real bad defensive mark and more of an outlier than anything. So that's kind of where we're at here. But they continue to play well. And we bet some Seahawks pretty heavily here on the money line. It was a pick 'em mostly. And we did that because of a matchup thing. And one thing with the Jaguars right now, where it's like, I think this offense is good, and I think the Trevor Lawrence hate is a little bit over exaggerated. But this is a good offensive line that's been playing like an elite one in spots where it can be schemed well. When they go against really good defensive lines, Houston, Seattle here, it struggles to kind of make push. And since the run game is so important, it kind of just slows the offense down quite a bit. And it showed again here. And again, this finished 20-12. Jacksonville scored kind of late to kind of get it into that spot. It was mostly a 2-score game there late. It was tight at halftime, but became a pretty heavy score late. And that late touchdown kind of shrunk it more than it should. But again, when the Jags go up against defenses that have elite defensive lines, and they've shown it twice so far, there are issues. And that's going to happen with an offensive line that's not necessarily talented at a top 5 level, but schemed very well to a top 5 level. And you're going to come across really good defensive lines that cause problems. And that's just kind of where the Jaguars are right now. I don't think this Jaguars team's bad or anything. And I think against teams that they can push around a little bit on the offensive line, they're going to score a bunch of points. So I have no issue with where the Jags are. It's just a really tough matchup against a really good Seahawks team right now. Rams 17, Ravens 3. I don't got to talk about this one too much. This is going to be one of the short ones. Ravens offensively, you got Cooper Rush back there, and then eventually Huntley, which gets swapped out. But the Ravens had a chance to grab a lead here right before halftime. They had a couple runs on the goal line, and Henry can't quite get in. That otherwise it'd be 10-3 going into half, and then Rams took it the other way for a score and then scored right out of the break on the next one. And it was 17-3 just like that instead of 10-3 Ravens, and the game kind of went away. And they were always going to struggle to score offensively here with the quarterbacks they're playing. And the scheme is kind of already built for quarterbacks that don't really, or the backup quarterbacks don't really fit into, which is tough. When it's tough to do that just in general when you have Lamar as your one. But I was not pleasantly surprised, but happy to see that the Ravens defense got players back and played to a higher level here for the most part. And they should be much healthier. They have a bye after this and much healthier where they're going to make a push. They're going to make a playoff push. That's genuinely coming. So we'll see what that looks like, but they'll be healthy after the bye, and we'll see what it looks like then. As for the Rams, something's up in terms of just the offense, I think. Defenses needed to show well here and did. And the defense can be got at a little bit in terms of scheme and some other stuff like that, but it's overall generally solid. The offense, Puka Nacua gets hurt a little bit early here, and he comes back in, but he's more of a decoy and not anything else, and he'll miss a week or two, and we'll see what that looks like afterward. But the offense is just not clicking in a way. They're getting in their own way some. Stafford's not really playing well. Missing a decent amount of throws and stuff like that, and it showed a little bit again here. The run game is okay, nothing spectacular. So it's, I don't know what to do with the Rams right now, because I think they're kind of good, but I don't think they're like up in this tier good. So we'll see what they look like. They have another weird spot now where they go overseas and play Jacksonville. And then they have a bye. We're probably going to get a better look at what they are after the bye, or what they're going to be after the bye. But right now, just a lot of it's not lining up particularly well. So we'll see what happens going forward. But an interesting team to watch over the next couple of weeks, or next week, and then after their bye, they'll be one of those teams to watch coming out of that. Las Vegas and Tennessee. Raiders win this one 20-10. This is two bad football teams. Period. Geno's not playing well. Their offense isn't playing well at all. Tennessee is a worse version of that. They just fired Callahan, so we'll see what that looks like going forward. But the offense has been really horrible. Cam Ward is playing like... I'm not going to well, I might. I don't think Cam Ward's going to make it in the NFL, but his situation around him is also really horrible. The offensive line's really bad. The wide receivers are really bad. But Cam Ward himself is playing like some of those, like, he's in those, remember after a year, it was like, man, Russell Wilson's in some pretty bad, or not Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson's in some pretty bad company in terms of just EPA and success rate, stuff like that. With the, like, when there's like, hey, there are 577 quarterback seasons, and here's where Zach Wilson is. Like, Cam Ward's in those areas, in the Josh Rosen areas and stuff like that. He is not playing well. And again, the stuff we talked about early on in our coming out would be problems are are problems. They're just genuine problems. He takes a lot of bad sacks. He holds the ball too long. And some of that, magic that was early, it was like, man, look at this Cam Ward play. How crazy was that? The stuff that's like, man, that's not sustainable. And it hasn't been sustainable so far. So he's going to have a lot of work cut out for him. He's going to have a new coach. And again, Callahan was probably one of the worst coaches ever, just genuinely head coaches ever. So new coaching might revive this a little bit. But it should be stated that it's not all on Cam's supporting cast. Cam is also playing really horribly, and he played really horribly here. And again, this is a game we don't have to talk too much about. This is two bad football teams who are going to continue to be most likely bad football teams. Green Bay and Cincinnati. Green Bay win this one 27-18. This was a weird one. This felt a lot like Green Bay were just trying to be as vanilla as possible. And they think they could get at this defense and just be vanilla and kind of win the football game, which they did. But it kind of came a little bit close for comfort there. They get the late field goal and kind of seal that up. But Cincinnati were within 6 pretty late there. And it's Flacco, and it's a Bengals offense that will probably just get a little bit better as the season goes along, as Flacco kind of gets in the rhythm with these players here on the offense. Again, it's like the Bengals at plus 5.5 are probably a bet on the weekend if Flacco's getting a full week in with these guys, but they haven't really gotten it together yet. And the week after the Steelers game, that next week, is probably when the offense starts to show a little bit better, because there's talent on the offense. There's obviously also problems. This offensive line sucks, and the running game is non-existent. So there are going to be issues, but they can have little spurts like they did in this game. They're talented enough on the ends, wide receiver, to do so. I mean, you saw it with the Chase touchdown late that brought him to 18. That's just Chase. Like, that's great coverage and fantastic defense, and it's just Chase. So they have that in them. Defensively, it's still not great. It's not going to be good. Again, the defensive line, Shamar Stewart is solid, and then you get Trey and some other guys in there who are okay and can like kill a drive here or there. But the back end is genuinely so bad that if they're going to win any games going forward, Cincinnati, it's going to be because the offense is clicking along. Again, as for the Packers, I thought they were just vanilla, playing with their food a little bit here, just trying to. It's almost like a college game where you're trying to win an early game without showing too much because you have a huge game next week. That's kind of what it felt like Green Bay were doing here offensively, and they got over the line here. There's just something about Green Bay that just doesn't feel right. Jordan Love with his weird turnovers, or if it's a game like this where the offense should be showing a lot better and isn't. Defensively, it's okay. It's really good. I don't want to say okay, it's good. But again, this felt like a sleepwalk game, and it played out kind of like a sleepwalk game, so we'll see what they look like next week. San Francisco and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay win this one 30-19. Baker, 2 good games in a row. 2, 3. But another really good game here, and he's kind of doing it without guys. Mike Evans might be back next week, but no Godwin for this one. Buka got hurt before half, and he did all that halftime without any of his top 3 guys, and continues to throw the ball really well and play really well. Again, I say a couple games because he's going to win the MVP. Like, he's not going to win the MVP, or he may, but he's going to be in the MVP race, and a lot of it is predicated on him having game-winning drives early on in the season where he was playing really horribly, to be perfectly honest. So for someone who like takes everything into account, it's tough for me to go, hey, Baker is playing at a top 2 level, top 3 level. But his last 2 games or so, he's been really, really fantastic. And he's got another opportunity next week at Detroit, who's got cluster injuries in the secondary and stuff like that. So we'll see. But the offense continues to click. Defensively, it's okay. It's solid. I think this defense can be had a little bit. And a lot of this game was bend, don't break, because the offense for San Francisco was moving it like down to down pretty well. and then you get a Mac Jones turnover and a fumble, and you get to the end there and you keep them to a field goal type stuff. It's a lot of bend don't break, which is fine. When your offense is scoring 30 points, bend don't break is perfectly fine. But I think it can be had a little bit. As for the 49ers, again, the offense is missing guys and missing the quarterback. And Mac Jones has been playing okay, but Mac Jones is also hurt and playing through something, and it shows a little bit, and he's not as good as Purdy, and it's like down to down is pretty good, and then they make a really bad mistake somewhere. And it just seems to be that way right now. And it's going to need to get better at some stage, but they're going to need guys back. Pearsall, players like that. We'll see. Kittle should be back soon, this week or next at least. So they'll get bodies back. Purdy should be back soon, theoretically. They'll get bodies back, but also the season's kind of just falling away. They can't really afford to lose necessarily to Atlanta at home next week, which should be tough. So they're going to have to get the offense sorted a little bit. Defensively, it's probably just going to be not so good for the rest of the year. They lose Fred Warner for the year. That's huge. He was their best player on defense and the guy who held the defense together. You can see it when he gets hurt. It's like you can feel like everything just like drop with San Francisco. He's so important to them. They've obviously lost Bosa already. The secondary's not been too fantastic and isn't fantastic at all. So defense, they're going to have to score points to win football games from here on out, and it should be interesting for San Francisco, who are well schemed and well coached offensively. So we should get some fun games with San Francisco going forward. Detroit and Kansas City. Kansas City win this one 30-17. This was another spot for Kansas City where I thought they could score points, and they did. Detroit were missing a ton of bodies and like the entire secondary. Like the top 3 or 4 corners were out. One of the 2 safeties was out, and then the second safety went out. Like Kirby Joseph went out later on. Like there was nothing back there, and they don't get a ton of pressure as it is. And it showed, and KC just ate it up, tore it apart. They were even running the ball really, really well. And their offense is kind of starting to click. They get Rashee Rice back next week, so you expect this offense to continue to click and continue to get better as the season goes on. Defensively, I thought Kansas City played all right here. I thought Detroit did a lot of it on its own. Detroit are up, 10-6, and then Amon-Ra drops that football, which, on the 4th down, and then it turns again. Like, there were a lot of those kind of mistakes offensively for Detroit. They had that 4th and goal at the 1 that gets penalized on the trick play that they didn't know about. Like, that's a coaching thing. That's just not knowing the rules thing. Like, they had a lot of points left on the board from their own issues, their own drops, their own not knowing the rules stuff. Like, they left a lot on the board. So I'm not super high on this Kansas City defense in terms of that stuff. I think it could be definitely had. But the offense is really starting to click. If the run game gets going, it's going to be tough to stop the offense because Mahomes is playing well. The wide receivers are getting healthy. Rashee Rice is coming back. So the offense is probably just going to continue to get better in a division that I think has issues. Like, I don't love this Denver team. I don't love this Chargers team. So they can go on and win this division comfortably and then just be one of those teams in the playoffs. And when when you look around, there aren't too many teams with really good offenses, really good quarterbacks that are also backed up with really good defense. Buffalo, we'll see what the Ravens look like when everybody gets healthy there, if they get healthy there. Like, there aren't a ton there, so they're very much in contention. Again, as for Detroit, defensively, they were never going to show well here, and they didn't. And a lot of the decisions they made offensively were off the idea that they weren't going to show well defensively, which fair enough. But they just shot themselves in the foot offensively. I don't think this offense is an issue or anything like that. But when the run game's not working and it becomes Jared Goff pass us out of this, it becomes a little bit more stagnant and a little bit more iffy. And that shows quite a bit. So there are issues. that everyone has issues, but there are small things there with the Detroit offense. And they'll just hope to get healthy on defense, really. Buffalo and Atlanta. Atlanta win this one 24-14. Yeah, let's talk about Atlanta first. All week we talked about Atlanta being able to score here, and they did. They were a yard from 31 here, right at the end of the half. This is a bad Buffalo defense, period. And even with Ed Oliver back, they can't really stop the run. And without Milano, they have nothing in the middle of the field. And this secondary is not good, period. And Bernard is solid. But we talked early that I thought everyone was getting ahead of themselves with Bernard, putting him in like top 10 conversations. He's not been anywhere near that this year so far. This Buffalo defense can be had, and Atlanta did plenty of that. And they scored 21 in the first half, almost 28. Again, they were a yard away from it, and then they were playing kind of keep away in the second half, and they win the football game. They played really well offensively. Defensively, they also played really well here. They were getting to the quarterback. They were doing really well against the receivers and things. If you can stop the run here, that's super important, which they did for the most part. Buffalo don't have the offensive weapons outside the quarterback and the running back who can really get you. Like Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. Like those guys aren't really going to come get you. They had Josh Palmer as well, who hurt himself. I don't remember exactly how serious that injury is there. But they don't have guys who are playmakers, who are on the outside, period. Like they have Kincaid, who's solid, missed this game. Like it's tough. So when you stop the run, you force some weird things there. And Buffalo struggles. That's 2 weeks running now. Buffalo has struggled a little bit on offense. I think the play calling is really weird. A lot of it is really weird. That end around was just dumb, number one. You have a 260-pound quarterback and a really good running back, and we're running end arounds to small wide receivers on 3rd and 1, which is crazy to me. Like, that kills the drive. They were just doing a lot of stuff. Like, they do a lot of weird things. And that's kind of happens with Josh Allen for whatever reason a lot, too, where he ends up with coordinators who, like, Joe Brady just wants to run the football a bunch. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, how is Josh Allen not getting the ball, like, in every single tough position? Like, how is he not? And he didn't play particularly well, obviously, in this particular game, but a lot of it was, like, he threw 2 picks. One was really, really late when they were just kind of chasing, got tipped and picked, and then one at the end of the half when they were kind of throwing downfield to try and find something that almost cost them more points, but nobody was really open, and he was forcing some things, and he didn't play well, and they haven't played well on offense in a couple weeks. But there is, if the problem with Buffalo is that if there's going to be issues on offense, they're going to lose games. Like, this offense needs to be good because this defense straight up sucks, like, genuinely. So Buffalo have some work to do. Atlanta, they may feel like they're in it, and why not? They're 3-2. That Carolina game was probably a blip. They have a nice win here. And they have an interesting game next week. That should be another really interesting barometer for them. So we'll see going forward with Atlanta. And then our final game here, Chicago and Washington. Chicago win this one 25-24. This was a fun one. We talked about Chicago's offense being able to throw the football here. They do throw the football here and throw it well. Weather in this game ended up being a really important thing with it. Jaden Daniels just can't handle the snap, and then up 2 with 3 minutes to go, first down, just can't handle the snap. They fumble the football away, and Chicago kicked the game-winning field goal after going like 30 yards down the field. Like otherwise, Washington are probably just celebrating a win here. But Washington have issues in the back end of the secondary, and when they're not getting pressure, it can be got, and you could really have a go at it, which Chicago did. Caleb Williams has shown now that he can at least play against bad defense. We'll see what that looks like kind of further down the line when their schedule kind of heats up a little bit in terms of playing tougher defenses. They have a really nice stretch coming. They play New Orleans at home this week. Like, they're going to feel good about themselves going forward. I'm a little bit more skeptical that this offense can really run on good defenses, which, we'll see. They played Detroit fully healthy, scored 21, but in a lot of it garbage, because Detroit scored 52. They played the Vikings that opening night, scored 17. But they have the Saints, and then they have a hurt Ravens, then they have the Bengals, then they have a Giants team, and then it kind of heats up a little bit. Then they get Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. I'm more interested in the back end of that schedule in terms of what Chicago are going to be offensively. But at minimum, they should be showing against bad defenses, and they are showing against bad defenses. As for the Washington offense, it was okay mostly today. Bad pick in there by Jaden Daniels, but other than that, mostly fine. And then obviously the fumble in the rain was more of just a freak thing and not a predictive thing. But that ends up costing them the game. And again, we've talked about this defense. It's an issue. It's a big issue. The secondary is not good, and the front four, with the injuries and everything, don't really get push. And any team that's going to be able to block on the offensive line and throw the football are probably just going to beat this Washington team. So they have work to do. Again, Chicago feel good. They're next. I don't know what they are right now. 3-2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're 3-2, and then they get the Saints, hurt Ravens, Bengals, Giants. So they're gonna want to win 3 out of those next 4 at least. If they do, they're gonna make a genuine playoff push. If they don't, they're probably not going to make a genuine playoff push. They may end up being 5-4 if they go 2-2 there, with that backloaded schedule of really tough opponents. Would be very, very difficult from there, but they'll feel good right now, and they'll continue to try and build on what they have and kind of just gel a little bit more. Again, this is a new offensive line, a quarterback learning a new system, a new coach. There's a lot of changes there being made. So, yeah, an interesting one, an interesting week, and week 7 next week, and hopefully we have some more for you.